everyone, just wanted to share a quick dream that I had last night that was kind of disturbing and that I think was pointing to the solar eclipse that's happening in a week. I was like at a tunnel and it was like an underground place, and I was there with lots of other soldiers training to battle. So this is kind of like a tunnel, and we were kind of underneath here. Not too many of us, I'd say, just maybe over a dozen, no more than 20 people. And we were kind of like, one, two, three, four, five, um, 4 or 5 people per row, just kind of lined up in a corner area. And then there was a platform here, so we kind of wanted to stay in the trench. And we knew that we were there to train because we were about to battle the clones. And I'll explain more about what the clones mean. Um, so, an old unit of soldiers had already left, and um, so our training was next, and we were given like old type U.S. Civil War guns that looked kind of like that. They were like old, and they required a lot of stuff to do with your hands, so they were kind of slow, and we were learning how to use them. And I was scared. I was very afraid because the enemy could show up at any time. So these clones could show up at any time, and I was worried that while I was there, they were going to show up. And I wasn't very good with my, old school type of gun. I was asking if I could get a better gun. I was wanting something like that, that can shoot a lot really fast. And they were teaching me how to use this. So I was pretty scared. And these clones were going to come at us from above. So again, we were in the trenches and the clones were coming from above. So I was expecting them actually not necessarily on the platform, but they could show up at any time coming down from the top. Then it was time to go, and we were going to go get food after our training. And I was sitting next to another soldier, and I only remember being with men. I don't remember seeing any women. I just remember the leader was a man, and the guy and the 2 soldiers that I remember were both men. Um, so I was sitting next to another soldier, and the commander came over and he asked him on the train if he had seen the movie The Ring. Now, I haven't seen this movie, so I'll go into that a little more detail. But he asked him, "Have you seen the movie The Ring?" And the soldier said yes. He asked the guy if he could go on a similar mission. And the guy thought that it was a lot to ask for, like implying that it was kind of a suicide type mission to go and do that type of mission by himself. I didn't really understand what that meant because I haven't seen the movie, but that was that, and the guy understood apparently very well what it meant. Then we got to a train station, and then we all kind of dispersed, and we're gonna go get our own food. So I woke up this morning, and since I haven't seen that movie, I just remember my younger sister said that she saw it and she couldn't sleep for a really long time. Um, and I don't watch scary movies. I just have never been able to. I didn't really think too much about it. They have lots of different versions of it. The original one was from a Japanese movie and an original book called Ringu in 1998. So they made a U.S. version in 2002. And the basic premise of this movie is that you watch this cursed videotape, and then whoever watches it dies 7 days later. The only people who don't die and are spared are those that make copies and show it to others. So if you want to save yourself from the curse, you've got to make a copy and show it to someone else, meaning someone else is going to die. So that was interesting. Something that did stand out was that the person that created the film was able to do it by psychically etching images onto objects and into minds. So, and thereby tormenting those around her. So if you go to the original novel, the young woman that had these abilities was technopathic, so feeds such as projecting mental images onto televisions. So, and this word technopathic means anything that's mind and machine interface. And of course, that's all over the media now. How do we connect to machines, right? Everything's about machines. So I'm not surprised that was in this movie. So, but still, I wasn't really getting it. So I was, looking to see if anybody had seen anything that stood out, because I really expected this movie to be about a physical ring of some sort. Um, and here, this really caught my attention. The tagline of a poster of this movie was, "Before you die, you see the ring." The ring is depicted as a solar eclipse. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. I didn't see that. And you see that right there. Before you die, you see the ring. So that's really scary because, in every single one of the movies, and it has a lot of sequels, it's always 7 days after you see this. So, here is I guess this is the cursed videotape. I'm not going to show it, but it does start with something that does resemble an eclipse, right? I mean, they're making it look like a well, but before that, it looks like an eclipse. There is the eclipse, I guess, starting, and there it is a little bit more further in. So I thought that was interesting. Because I really, since I hadn't seen the movie, I was expecting this to be related to some kind of physical ring. So I'd say I'd be pretty scared. I mean, I know we're in How I Watch now, but this is saying a week after the eclipse is when everybody died after seeing this film, which includes an eclipse in it. Another thing that I found interesting, I went to the release information for the original Japanese movie, and in Israel, it was released on August 22nd of 2002. So I know that the eclipse occurs on the 21st in the US, but I remember seeing a video where somebody said that that will actually already be sunset in Israel, which means the beginning of the next day, which would be the 22nd. So here is around that time, and it does UTC +3 is Israel time, so that's already at the time of their sunset. So that was interesting. Now the cloning part, to me, that represents the fallen angels, and this is a video that just a month ago or so that Diana put out in Oliveri about South Pacific fallen DNA, and I posted a comment there. I was having breakfast outside and reading at a restaurant where there were lots of empty tables near me, but this little girl decided to come right to where I was and rest her pile of books on a divider that was right above my table. That was interesting because there was lots of other places for her to be, but she came right to my table. It's almost like she didn't even see me. And then I smiled at her and saw that the title of her book was Game of Clones. And she kind of I guess she hadn't really seen me, so she left pretty quickly, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I went back to reading my book, and the very next thing I read after she left was, "For thousands of years, the fallen angels have been propagating themselves and propping themselves up on the social and success cult ladder. From the original prototype, they have cloned and carbon copied an oppressive and godless power elite." And this is from the book called The Fallen Angels and the Origins of Evil. So I just wanted somebody that had an analysis, kind of a commentary on the Book of Enoch. So that was very interesting timing. So, when I dreamt about last night about fighting clones, and that they were going to show up at any moment, that was a little, I was very afraid, first of all, and it just meant I was fighting these fallen angels, I guess. That was pretty clear to me in the morning when I woke up. So I just wanted to put it out there. I think it's a warning about the time we are at now around the eclipse, and I would be particularly worried for the week after the eclipse.